Slaptail Squad, assemble.
I am now recording. You can see it. We are doing a remote podcast. This is the Slaptail Squad. With me today, of course, let me introduce myself as the leader of Slaptail Nation, the self-professed god and ruler of Slaptail Nation, and the leader of the Slaptail Squad. I am the Beaveman.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I am. I are.
Yes, very correct.
You is, yeah.
And with us today, as always, my second in command, or my alpha team leader, is the Ronz. Hey.
I knew that was coming.
I'm pretty sure you're not going to get rid of that name.
No, I'm not. You know,
People
I thought
like
about
it.
that
I think
all
people
week,
like
and I'm
it.
like, you know, when I was doing the website, you know, and I'm like, hey, you know, what should I put on there and everything? And Carrie, my beloved punk rocker wife, said, you know, I like Ronz. Hey, so you've corrupted her in such a way, it's so annoying, but I'm happy with it, I guess. It's one of those military names you just don't fucking get rid of.
I think you should embrace it.
I have no choice.
You have no choice. Also with us today is Skylar, who is he's the guy who makes our music. He makes our intros. He's also my child. He's my child.
Who are you referring to?
Dad.
Who's your daddy?
My father, the person whose testicles I came from. I don't know how much more specific you would like me to be.
Right. So what we're doing today, though, is different. We're doing a remote podcast because of the that which shall not be named.
The immense distance between all of us.
Yep.
We're doing some social distancing. Ron's at his home.
Hey.
I'm at my home here. Oh, nice. Let's hear that again. Go ahead.
Hey.
You gotta say it with some more enthusiasm. Yeah, that was not super enthusiastic on your part.
I will try to be more enthusiastic about it. I appreciate it.
Practice that. When you practice that at home, you should be in front of a mirror.
Yeah,
I should.
And if you have a leather jacket, that's a good plus.
Dude, I have my old motorcycle jacket somewhere. It is one heavy motherfucker, but it is. I do have it. Right,
That's
and
a
I
major
should
concept,
I have my thumbs up.
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
unless that's copyrighted.
I don't think you can. I mean, I don't know. It should be fine. As long
it's been
as
enough
you
years.
keep track of how many royalties, like how many times you do it, and then pay that forward, you should be okay.
And as we all know, Henry Winkler is supposed to be like the nicest person in Hollywood, him and Tom Hanks.
Okay.
So there's a good chance that Henry Winkler's not going to come after you.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's pretty accurate.
That's good.
But I also heard that him and Tom Hanks don't get along.
Really?
I don't know that I've ever seen them like together. Like
Now, I don't know if that's true.
No, they've been together in an episode with, and believe it or not, Tom Hanks played a black belt in karate.
On Happy
dear.
Days?
On Happy Days. Look it
Did
up.
he really?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Ronz.
Yeah.
And it's probably because we've named you this. But now, how many times do you think we've referenced Happy Days now on the podcast?
Oh, geez, I couldn't even begin.
There's some nostalgia, though, because I really did like that show quite a bit.
Yeah. Tom Hanks played some sort of karate guy who was just pissed off at Fonzie. The character that Henry Winkler played. And it's one of those things.
He who was the Fonz.
He was the Fonz. And yeah, believe it or not. And believe it or not, thank you. Because if you didn't know, I'm a black belt in the martial arts. Right? I wasn't even going to reference karate. That. And I like how you did the Tom Hanks thing.
I didn't do that to set you up so that you could reference your black belt in karate.
I wasn't even going to mention that.
I did not do that. Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
How are you holding up now that the Hobby Lobby's closed?
Oh, you know,
that's
and
not
I
essential.
realize why it's closed down. I really do, and for good reasons too. But for some guy who thrives on just working out like that, it kind of sucks. You know, I can go out in my backyard and I can train, but it's sort of like it's kind of.
It's not the same when you don't have like sweaty women and children around you. It's just not the same.
Right, stinking up the place.
Well, I like training. I really do. It gives me a purpose, basically.
It's good
right?
structure.
It's good structure. Yeah, I like that word. It's really good structure. And I have.
Hi-oh.
Hello.
Hi-oh. Did somebody say train again?
Hey, it's Paper Doc.
Did you say train?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
train.
Nice. So can I join your train?
Train. Are you holding up Paper Doc and speaking into the mic?
It's hard to realize what's happening because I'm a lot of episodes behind, so I just don't, and I can't see you, so I'm just sitting here very confused.
Yeah.
The listeners know what I'm doing.
Well, yes, but I don't know. I mean, if I took my headphones off, you're probably loud enough that I could hear you, like, because you're right pretty much above me. Like, your office is above my bedroom. So I can
Wait a minute. Are you, Sky, you're at home?
Yeah.
You can't walk upstairs and sit in the front of the mic.
That's why I said it was a joke that we're all very apart from each other, but I just never elaborated on it because I didn't feel like it.
Wow. Well, back to what you were saying. Yes, I do miss the structure. In fact, I had certain goals for myself in the next couple of months, and I was hoping to achieve them.
Well, I think that probably what you missed the most is, and you probably should just call him and ask him if he'll yell at you all day.
That's what I was going to say. It's not the same when you're not being yelled at.
No. That's okay. If I want to get yelled at, I'll just go out in public and shake hands with people.
Oh dear.
I feel like that's what you missed the most. You're just missing the degradation.
No, I don't miss the degradation.
I'm sure he's got like lawn work or something if you really wanted to, like, go over there, get some nice learning in, just get some raking of leaves on there so he can come out and scream at you.
Jeez, you're making everything out to be a villain here, but no. I just miss the structure. Once again, I'm a volunteer in the community, and what happens is you take away that structure that I'm used to helping out people. Now I'm at home, and I can't help out society the way I would like to contribute to. And
I just picture you like what was it, Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now? You remember that?
I do remember the movie. I don't remember the scene.
Remember where he's drunk and he's in his underwear and he's like doing martial arts moves, and then he punches the mirror and he's like crying in his underwear. You remember that?
No, I don't.
You don't remember that scene from Apocalypse Now? It's a great. You'll have to watch it.
Okay.
So, Skylar, you've probably never seen Apocalypse.
No,
Now.
I haven't.
I highly recommend it though. If you're a student of film, you should watch Apocalypse Now.
I'll have to add it to my never-ending list. It's
a long watch though. It's, what is it, Ron? Like 2.5 hours long? 3 hours?
I'm pretty sure it's long.
If you want to watch some stars when they were not like heavy major stars, like Harrison Ford's in that movie, Lawrence Fishburne's in that movie, Marlon Brando's in that movie, Charlie Sheen's in that. The list goes on.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a Stanley Kubrick film?
Robert Duvall's in that movie. He plays an awesome character in that movie.
2.5 hours is like chump change when you're talking to the person who just watches Endgame every week for no reason.
But hey, this is what I picture Ron doing. I picture Ron just super depressed, maybe drinking in his underwear, practicing his martial arts, crying and weeping. And at the same time,
ruthless.
At the same time,
I feel like that's pretty tame.
Yeah, at the same time.
Wait a minute. Right. Everything that I stand for against bullying, this is what's happening. You guys are just banging up on me like,
credit.
Look, we just have to be honest. There will never be a world without bullying, so why try? Just give in.
This is not bullying. You may think of it as bullying. It's me giving you credit where credit is due.
Okay.
And I'm showing how much the training means to you. At the same time,
I don't mind saying bullying.
At the same time, I picture your master sitting in a comfy like leather chair, like they have in the Sherlock Holmes movies. He's got on a smoking jacket. There's a nice fire crackling. He's got a brandy in one hand and a cigar in the other hand. He's just sitting there going, you know how nice it is not to have to yell at the Ronz 3 days a week. His blood pressure is probably lower. His cholesterol is probably good.
Well, I don't think that just applies to me. I think it applies to a lot of people there. Right. But
that he misses yelling at them, or that they miss him?
What's that?
Which one? That he misses yelling at all of them, or that they all miss him yelling at them?
I think it's a little of both.
Okay.
It's a little both, right? It's when you get up there as far as structure goes, and you want to train right. When you make a mistake, at a lower rank, it happens, right? You're told not to make it, but as you get in a higher belt, what happens? You make a mistake, and they're like, okay, you should know better by now.
Right.
And every now and then, you make a mistake and you get in trouble for it, right? That's why you go down to Georgia and become a movie maker.
Well, I mean, I miss going to martial arts. I've told my dad about it. Like, I miss going there because I need structure. I am just too much of an idiot to not have any structure.
I think you will fit in well if you started taking Ron style again, because most of them are also overweight.
I'm actually target weight.
Wait a minute. Now, I knew Sky because Sky and I trained together. And yeah, I admit being 220, almost 230, that was a bit overweight, but I slimmed down. I really did. All right. And I went from 230 to 160. Sorry. All right. Just to train. Now, I admit I did put some weight back on because I went back to eating good food that I really like. I mean,
life is short. Eat what you want. That's what the doctors say.
No, that's not what we say. We say that if you want your life to be short, eat what you want.
I'm pretty sure I got an email recently from the Red Cross that said, please, in these hard times where nothing is going right, eat whatever you want. Things will be fine.
What would you recommend eating?
Could have been an ad for Oreos.
That's probably more accurate. That is actually more accurate.
What type of Oreos would you recommend eating, Sky?
Well, okay, so if I feel terrible, like if I just absolutely hate myself more than normal, a family pack, a double stuff Oreos.
Brooding filmmaker. That is amazing. Keep going. I like this.
And then you get, I don't drink regular milk. I can't physically drink it anyway, but it's ruining my life that I can't have milk, but I get, because almond milk doesn't work with Oreos, so it's just compounding shitty on top of shitty, because then I can't have milk, and then I can't pair Oreos with, it's milk's favorite cookie, and I can't even do that, so then I have to buy more. It's all just terrible. Nothing is going right in the food world.
All right, are you lactose intolerant then?
I guess, or I'm just not meant to drink.
So if you're lactose intolerant, they make like chewable pills or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I just drink like a crap ton of almond milk.
It's time for medical advice from the Ronz.
Yeah.
It's just Lactaid. I don't think I've ever taken Lactaid. I don't really care too
You're not
much.
meant to drink cow's milk.
Well, you're not meant to like also take like a pill that magically makes you able to drink cow's milk.
No, you're not. That's
all makes you magically able to do anything. So why wouldn't this work for you?
I don't think if you take Lactaid, you can just go stand in the street and get hit by a bus and be fine. So I think scientifically what you just said is wrong.
Opposite of why you would take it. I mean, come on.
I have no idea.
If you take something that'll help you enjoy an Oreo because it's your last days on Earth, why not eat it?
I mean, I don't eat it in my last days on Earth. I eat it like because Tuesday went really well and I just don't feel like making dinner. Like that's when I eat Oreos.
And what type of Oreos do you eat?
Like I said, families, I can eat a family pack of double stuffed Oreos in one sitting.
You're a walking diabetes.
And I've been able to do that for like the past 4 years. But only in the past 2 years has it had any impact on my health.
Uh-huh.
Wow. And you don't have any particular flavor of Oreos you like?
I like mint, but I will never get those because then I don't know. It's just, no, I don't know. I just go with regular. Sometimes I'll get like birthday cake. That's like if I'm stepping outside the box.
Wow.
Here's what I have a problem with though, is not so much the fact that you eat the Oreos, but that when you lived here, you would hoard them in your room and you wouldn't even share them.
Well, yeah, but now that I live alone, I just eat them all in one sitting because I'm just watching TV.
In your dad's basement. How is that living alone?
No, now that I have an apartment, like I still have an apartment.
Your room downstairs, the apartment?
I am living in the COVID-19 virus has taken many victims. Thousands of people have died. I have had to make a drive back to temporarily move to Michigan. So I ask you, which is worse? How can you compare the two? Apples to oranges. But yes, my temporary apartment now that I held while also paying tragically for an apartment in Atlanta, I don't have any food just in either apartment, so it's going fine.
So I like how
There's
you threw that
nothing
at
in
me.
my
That's
room.
amazing. You have a life in politics if you ever want one. I think you're fantastic.
Well, I just can't place my thoughts. That's all. It seems
okay.
impressive.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
there you go.
So now that we've talked about Oreos, which I also love. I also love those, by the way.
John, you can tell me straight up. We're on mic that our listeners would like to know how this is
but I don't
doing.
want to go through. I don't want to go through and have to edit it.
Oh, okay. I see.
Well, you would just call this. What would you call it? Like an uncut episode. The people want to hear the things that normally get cut because it gives them a glimpse into the life of the background. So
if you really want to hear something funny, there's a Mark Maron anyway. I'm gonna say something about Mark Maron's podcast, which I enjoy, but he puts out 2 a week, and when you put out 2 a week, I don't have time to listen to them.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll only listen to the guests that I'm really interested in hearing about, but it's also nice because he'll interview like his friends also, and some of those are the best podcasts. But he did one where he interviewed Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt when they were on the set of the movie that I still need to watch.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's the new movie.
And he had his equipment with him, and he kept having problems with his mics, and he was like swearing and all this stuff, but they left it in, and it was so funny. And he was like, and you could tell he was panicking, and I could just picture him like sweating, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like,
"Those are big guests." So, like, for your equipment not to work when you're working with, 2 of some of the biggest actors in Hollywood, we are nobody, so it should be fine.
No, we are somebody. I mean, you're an up and coming, filmmaker.
Right? The whole film industry is shut down, so I don't have any training. My training is now online. How do you put a trade school online? How am I supposed to? I don't know what the thinking behind that. I wish they would just say it's over.
Well, look at some of the movie makers coming up, and when they started out, they took an old camera or whatever equipment was available, and they made films, right? They made shorts, and I figured pretty much that's what you could do, right?
That's what I'm working on writing. So I'm at least writing in this time of uncertainty.
Here's a concept for you. Right? How about a day in the life
that works?
How about a day in the life of a podcaster? Right? Go behind the scenes. Right? Show everybody how it works.
So boring.
That's what this podcast is. That was the whole pitch I said of keeping all this stuff in. So this has rendered my point entirely mute.
Here's a TV show about
it. Would just be if I filmed my dad.
Isn't Zach Braff already doing that? Didn't Zach Braff make a TV show about where he quits his job to become a podcaster?
I don't know if it was a podcaster, but me, just like most of America, we did not watch that show, so we got canceled after like 4 episodes.
I'm pretty sure that's what he did, and I was like, "Oh,
I don't know if it's a podcaster. I don't know. It is. I don't know. I like Zach Braff for like 2 things: Scrubs and one of his movies.
Scrubs.
I like Zach Braff because
I like that show.
I like Zach Braff because I think he would be a cool friend.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. He's one of my favorite actresses at the moment is. I think she's like a 23-year-old named Florence Pugh. She's been in a lot of good movies lately. And Zach Braff is like 25 years older than her, and they're dating. And I'm like,
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I did like him in Scrubs.
Yeah, I don't know, man. 25 years, that's excessive.
And she's like my age, and she's dating excessive. Zach Braff. And I'm like, it's not wrong, but.
Yeah, but Hugh wasn't really having sex and stuff, dude. They all said that Hugh couldn't get it up.
He was fully clothed under that robe. Like, I don't know why we're pretending.
He just wanted to have beautiful women on his arm, dude. His days of romping were way gone a long time ago.
Yeah, like there's not pictures of him making out with 18-year-olds at age 75. So I don't know. It's
we know.
Age, yeah. Well, it's kind of like
not that we know.
You gotta have some range. I mean, even 10 years seems excessive, but I'd say that's probably the cutoff.
But I mean, it's like someone dad's age, like dating someone my age, like
That's disturbing.
yeah, I don't, I'm not going to say I inherently like disagree. They cannot look at each other or whatever, but I'm like, I'm not a fan. Like that's just.
What amazes me though is that this is my son, Ronz. Sometimes I'm amazed that what a responsible young man he is.
Of course,
I
of
am
course.
old beyond my years.
He's already an old man at the age of 21.
I am like physically and mentally, I feel like I'm like 83. I just
You're
can't do
21?
anything. Yeah, I'm almost 22.
Dude, I've known you that long?
Yeah, but
Wow.
we only did karate together for like half of that because I quit.
Yeah. I still remember the time that you and I were up for a test and I hit you in the face, and I felt bad about it. But now that I know that you're 21, take it like a man.
I don't even remember how what was I, 8th grade, 9th grade? I would have been 14.
You were
No,
pretty
I would have been
tough
like
for a
13.
14-year-old, though.
I was very angsty because I was like karate, martial arts, puberty. I want to punch things.
That was
And then
never you. That was
Well, yeah,
never
but I was
you.
like quiet rage.
You were always so quiet. You were always so mellow. You were the last person I could ever imagine angry at the world.
I mean,
thought it was funny. Didn't you punch that one guy?
that's what I'm thinking of in my head right now.
Didn't
Is
you
that
punch
one?
that one guy and he didn't come back after that?
Yes, because the second Ron started speaking about like not seeing me angry, I thought about that one time that we did sparring and this guy he hit me like really hard for no reason. We were doing like, it was like there was like 3 rounds of sparring or whatever.
Yeah.
And first round he like came in and he's like older than dad. He's like and he just like hit me. And I was like, what the heck is your problem? I was like, what? And I didn't say anything. And then like the next round of sparring, I just like matched his energy and everybody was like, whoa, like stop matching, whatever, stop doing all that. And then he just didn't come back. And I was like, I didn't like beat him into submission or anything, but I was like, if you're a dick, I'm going to be a dick back. Like, I don't know.
No, it was funny. I was watching.
Because he was
This
also
is why
like a
it's-
dick to you. Like,
Well,
he
no,
was a
what
jerk
happened
in
was
general.
I remember watching him sparring everybody, and he'd get this look on his face like he was better than everybody else in karate. But this is the same guy who did jujitsu with us like twice
Yes.
and didn't come back because we hurt him.
I
Yeah.
don't remember this guy.
Oh, you'll remember him. His name was Paul. I think it was Paul.
I don't know, he was like tall, had
He was
glasses,
tall, had like
gray hair.
grayish hair.
Oh, yeah,
thin.
I know he had retired because he had certain injuries recently.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
That was
And
weird.
had I known that,
Well, he
I mean,
took
come
another
on.
style. He was a higher belt in another style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
I
came to
think
our
I know what we're
dojo.
talking about. But the thing is, had we known that, or had I known that, we would have stepped in. I mean,
I don't think you have to step in because Skylar like laid one on him.
yeah.
Yeah, I
He was
remember
throwing techniques that I hadn't seen in years, if I remember correctly. And in the style that we're in, we really don't throw those types of kicks. And
Yeah.
you throw them in your style, John, your previous style. But
Like
high kicks.
Yeah, like the
High
high
kicks,
like side kicks.
side kicks, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way to defeat that is just to move in on this person and boom,
And then
you take their
just make
center.
it so they
they're
can't
gone.
kick you.
Well, you're absolutely right, Ronz. That does work, and that works in general with those styles. But then the opposite happens if you move in on them, but they know how to move in also.
Yeah.
So if you move
Then it
in,
becomes
for
hand to
example,
hand.
for example, you move in on us, which is the big thing that I always talk about with our style. I'm like, if you move in on with us, you just fucked yourself.
I
Yeah,
agree.
because jiu-jitsu is all close combat. Well, mostly
yeah.
close combat.
So yeah, Brazilian jiu-jitsu is the same way.
Well,
Yeah,
Brazilian jiu-jitsu, no offense to my Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioners out there, but eventually somebody's nuts are going to go in your mouth.
I wouldn't
Is
know.
that just the culture of Brazil? I don't get it.
No, I think that's just the culture of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but
I always
it is a
thought it was
great
like
style.
savage cuddling.
There's some sort of cuddling going on. Are you guys ready to talk about this podcast? It might end up being 2 podcasts.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I like talking good about me. I like other
You like
people talking good about me, so we could do this for
Yeah.
however long.
No, Sky, I've been really impressed with the way you've grown up as a young man. I mean, your music, And I remember the first time I met your girlfriend. It was downtown, I do believe.
So these are
we were at the park.
The weirdest things that people say. I'm just gonna let this go, and then I'll comment after. Ronz, please continue the story.
It was that Pokemon Go summer when everybody was playing Pokemon Go, and it was like we had just graduated, and I saw you like downtown. I'm surprised I remember that, but that was like when we first started dating, and then we just celebrated our 4-year anniversary like a week ago.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
But it was one of those things. Like, I ran into you. You were lanky still. And you turn around like, this is my girlfriend. I'm like, oh, you've discovered what girls are. That's awesome.
No, just a lot of girls before then didn't like me also. It's the whole thing.
Is that the excuse you're going to use?
There's a whole no, some of them.
What awkward thing did Ron say to your girlfriend?
I don't
think it was anything awkward to him at that time.
I probably
my
knew.
name is Ron, and I've seen him without his shirt on before you did.
No, this was 2016 me, so I was like, I probably knew. I was just like, hello, and then just probably directed her away or something like that before something could be said.
You already knew that he would say something awkward.
I remember.
Let me spare you and the Rons.
Because there was me, Carrie, and RJ.
Yeah, it was all three.
Girlfriend. And you're like, you introduce. I'm like, Sky. You're like, Ronz. And I'm like, who's this? You're like, this is my girlfriend. And I'm like, okay. And I was very specific, I think, not to say anything stupid. Right? And I think I did because you don't remember anything that I said. So
no. I think it was job. It must have been pretty normal.
Yeah. I kind of like take it aback, when I'm out in public meeting somebody that they're introducing their spouse to me or significant other, I really kind of calm it down a bit until they open up the floodgates. Then it's okay.
Right.
Then it's like, oh, well, did you know Skylar has the original Karate Kid headband? Or at least he wears a knockoff, and it's really cool. And I didn't say anything stupid like that.
Just, hi, my name is Ron. I once kicked Skylar in the nuts during sparring. How do you do?
Did I do that? No, I don't.
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
my! Now you're making me feel.
Don't you remember that? I don't remember when. I don't remember exactly when this one happened, but we were sparring, and it was like round 2 or something like that. We weren't. It was probably like when we were green belts.
Okay.
And then like we were just doing like a normal sparring, and one of your kicks like missed, and you kicked me directly in the junk, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
I don't understand.
You guys were doing jujitsu too. And everybody like saw, like you guys were all watching us spar like you usually did, and then everybody just saw me get kicked in the nut. Yeah,
we sit there and laugh.
Yeah.
Well, let me
because it looks
play
like
a belated I'm sorry routine here.
This is why. Do you guys know why we sit there and laugh and watch you guys?
Well, because it probably looks like a fish flopping around in a boat,
and someone
it
looks like a little slap fight. It looks like a little slap fight, and we just watch you guys watch each other's feet because that's what you guys do the whole time is just look at each other's feet and then you slap each other. And so
I don't watch feet.
Yes, you do.
Because they're like, you have to predict the moment before they strike. Hi-ya! But everybody's like looking at them. So one way to do that is like to look at their feet, because if they're gonna kick, they're gonna lift their leg, or if they're gonna punch, they're gonna pull back their hand. But everybody looks at the ground.
They do, and their hands are doing this little Tyrannosaurus Rex thing.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that
looks like they have short arms.
I would say early on people look at the feet early on, but as you become a more skilled practitioner,
as you actually like learn,
you don't look at the feet.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're just so you know, you're setting yourself up for failure at the Hobby Lobby because I'm going to take my phone with me and I'm going to film the next time I see you spar, Ronz. And if I catch you looking at feet, I'm going to
deliberately look at feet now. I really am. I'm probably going to get my ass kicked, but I'm going to deliberately look at feet just to go, did you get it on camera? Let me do it again. So,
I'm sure it's going to happen because I watch it every time. All of you do it.
Right.
Even the quote high belts do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I did at one point claim to be good, but I now will not claim that I was that great at karate, because I was, like I said, I was just angsty wearing a colored belt, and then people were like, "Oh, that's impressive." So I didn't really do anything.
You were a lot better than you thought. You really were. And you were so quiet. I mean, just to get you to say something was
Yeah.
almost, it was one of those things where, hey, you got to speak louder. Okay. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm still like that. Pretty much the only time I'm not like that is like now. Like I know both of you, so I can talk pretty freely. But like in new situations, it's pretty rare. I mean, like, so the school I'm going to, they like force you. They're like, you have to be an extrovert in order to make it in this industry. Blah 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 blah. So I've been forcing myself to be like an extrovert now. But now that school is done, I can just hide away again and recharge.
and I think that's what martial arts has done for me. As an introvert, you have to be an extrovert. Here we are during this quarantine virus thing, and everybody's become an introvert.
That which shall not be named.
Yeah. But all the introverts are like, what's the problem? We do this all the time. And when you're forced to be an extrovert, you've got to step outside your comfort zone. You as a filmmaker, me as a volunteer, it really, and the Beaveman in his profession, you have to step out and really confront your demons on that. So
yeah, or nothing gets done.
Yeah.
But it's a good point because, everybody's complaining like all the time about how, and I mean, I still complain about how like stuff is different now, but this is pretty much just how I spend my days off, is just doing absolutely nothing, not leaving the house. So it's just like an extended, and I don't know when I'm going to go back to work. So it's just like an extended day off for me, basically, just doing what I already normally do.
So what is it you normally do then?
Well, so living on your own is very different than living with your family, obviously. When I lived with my family, I was an unproductive piece of shit. But now in my apartment,
say that.
Well, I would go out.
You had a job.
Yeah, but I only did stuff at my job. I wasn't helpful.
Kept your room clean, but yeah, you were not helpful around the house.
Yeah, so that's why I say like I was a piece
What
of
job
shit.
did you have?
I was a parts boy for an aviation company, and I just worked full time lifting heavy stuff.
Oh,
and
that funded your Oreo hoarding habit.
They paid me very, very well. I now work for a mega corporation that pays me peanuts. So making moves. But no, I mean, when I lived at home, I really didn't do anything because I was tired from work. But now I live on my own. I'm always tired because I'm always doing everything, and I'm very productive in like cleaning all the time and I'm basically getting everything done. So it just makes me realize that like, wow, I was a really unhelpful person like the entire time I lived with my family. So that's why, I don't know. It is growth. It is maturity or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I'll back that up. I mean, being someone who does, like I said, a lot of volunteering in the community.
Do you do a lot of volunteering in the community?
I do.
I personally volunteer every free weekend.
All right. No, and when you take that away,
he just goes, all right, it's all right.
No, I'm
a
okay.
bold-faced lie, but
when you do a lot of volunteering in the community, you
But
take
do
that
you
away.
do a lot of volunteering?
how much constitutes a lot? What's your weekly average?
Well, okay, let's.
Like, what do you plug into MyFitnessPal?
Yeah, keep in mind that you only have to volunteer like 4 hours as a high school kid to graduate or some shit. But.
Well, National Honor Society. Well, I didn't have to volunteer at all. But if you were you wanted to look impressive on a resume, you would join the cult that is the National Honor Society, and then you had to volunteer, I think, like 20 to 30 hours. And I'm like, I'm 17. What do you want me to? You want me to get these grades and volunteer and play sports and like find money for college? I'm just gonna do theater and fuck off. Like, I don't know what you want.
But no, I understand. I volunteer.
So, do you volunteer? Is the question
I do.
I just want to clarify that.
You strike me as the type of person who would volunteer. So I guess my main question to you is, do you volunteer?
I do. At least 20 hours a week if I can.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty admirable.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot. I would assume that's a lot more than most people.
I would assume that's more than several people combined over a lifetime.
Yeah, like a combined average. I'd say it's. I mean, it's admirable.
That probably might be an exaggeration, more like 10 to 15. If that. Yeah. Well,
he just couldn't sit there and take it.
Let's face it, because
he's not comfortable. He's not comfortable with success. So the success of getting a compliment, he's like, well, you know what, maybe.
Where we practice, there's on Mondays and Wednesdays, there's 4 hours right there. Right. From 5 to 9.
Hold on just a second. You're saying that the work
teaching
you do at the Hobby Lobby, the quote teaching that you consider that volunteer work?
Technically, I think it is.
It is technically.
I mean, it's a nonprofit organization. So
you're molding lives.
So you're saying the rare occasions that I teach, very rare.
I coach. I don't teach. Let's put that in perspective.
I teach. So the very rare occasions that I teach, you're saying that I'm actually doing volunteer hours.
Well, then we have to commend you. Do you volunteer?
Yeah. Do you volunteer?
Apparently, I do. Very rarely.
Well, I feel like you should know if you volunteer, because that is something you have to tell everyone.
Apparently, twice a year I do.
Well, hey, that's more than most people. I don't volunteer.
Yeah.
I probably get. I would say, if Ron says he volunteers about a 10 to 15, anywhere from 10 to 20 hours per week average, I probably clock in maybe 30 hours a week playing video games, maybe 30 watching TV. So,
wow. Well, as a filmmaker, that's part of your process, though. You have to play video games. Say that.
Yeah, I do. I am, for some reason, I do watch movies and TV shows in a very stupid particular way now. So like part of that magic is like gone, because it's just me watching movies and I'm like, oh, well, this is how you would do this specific thing, or why did they do that? Blah, 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 all the condescending, whatever film crap junk. But I mean, like, sometimes I just like sitting there for an entire 8-hour day just watching TV.
Now, let me ask you this. Because you're a movie in the film industry now, right, and going to school for it, has that ruined movies watching for you?
Yes. Well, first, movie watching was ruined for me before I left, because I would still watch movies, and I would think about, like, how do you do this? But now that I've gone to school, I'm like, I watch movies and I'm like, okay, this is how they did that. So it's still ruined for me, but I mean, like, I talked to Dad about it. I just kind of sound smarter now, because I'm like, I watched this movie and I'll be talking to Dad about it, who clearly hasn't gone and seen it because I watched it like 2 days before it came out to the public. And I'm like, yeah, I was watching it and they did like this tracking dolly shot from like 3 rooms and then blah, 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 blah. And like, I know he's on the phone, like trying to be supportive, but I'm like, I also know I sound just so stupid. Like, I sound smart and stupid, because part of me just wants to watch the movie. Like,
it's sort of like me, right? I got into theater makeup doing horror stuff. And when I watch thrillers, I'm like, oh, I know how they did that. Yeah, and when you watch everybody cringe, it's sort of like, for me, I'm like, listen, the music set the tone. That bone that you heard breaking was actually done by someone off-site crunching sticks, right?
It's just like, it kind of loses the magic, because you're like, oh, it's all bullshit. But like, that's what filmmakers knew the whole time, is that it's all bullshit.
No, I think it's cool though when you see the video clips of the people that are watching the film and they're the ones making the noise. That's kind of cool to see those clips.
Yeah, the Foley,
like two women that are sitting there they've got their supplies and they've got like wet mops that they're slapping on the floor.
Yeah, and like sand that they step on, and like the Foley artists are super
women,
cool.
I'm thinking 2 women in a cup. That's not the movie industry we're talking about.
You have managed to bring up a probably 15-year-old internet reference,
right,
in 2020.
You really want to know a funny story about that, though?
Sure.
You don't want to know a funny story? Well, I'm going to tell it anyway. Here's the funny story. They used to mention it.
And mute myself.
They used to mention it all the time on 97.9 GRD, the radio station out of Kalamazoo. So they used to mention that all the time. And the co-host, he's a co-host now, but he was like their producer back in the day, Joe. He would talk about it all the time. So finally I was like, you know what? I'm just going to watch this video. It sounds disgusting, but I'm going to watch it anyway. So I got the wife. I'm like, let's finally watch this video.
Do not. No.
Let's see
Not
this
tell me you
disgusting
watched-
video.
Oh,
No,
my
listen to the story. So let's see this disgusting video. And she's like, okay, let's see
Oh
what it
my
looks like because
God.
Joe talks about it all the time. So we go to pull it up. Immediate virus on the computer.
Oh my.
Immediate virus on the
Really?
computer. I was like, yeah, immediately.
I don't
So
think it
then
was
I
a
had to-
virus. I think it was more or less the
This would have
script on
been
the
like
page.
No, it was a
this
virus.
would have
No, it
been
was a
like
virus because
2007.
no, it was a virus because as soon as you click to get off it, it would open up 100 windows.
Yeah,
It was a
because I mean,
virus.
this is 2007. They're probably using.
That's more of a script on the page to override everything. If you would have just controlled alt delete and killed the browser, it would have
Nope.
No, this
Did
is
all
like
that stuff.
this
Did all
is
that
like
stuff.
early internet when they're using like some insanely shitty Dell computer like with no antivirus software. This is like it's not early internet, but it's early our family having internet. So I entirely believe that they just gave themselves a virus on accident.
Oh, well.
we did. It was
Well,
it was totally a virus. You
being,
could every time you do was open up another 100 windows. Every time you would close a window, it'd open up another 100 one.
Yeah,
So
I
you-
know exactly what happened. You weren't
shut the
smarter than your
computer down,
computer. You weren't
Yeah, I'm not a
smart.
computer person.
This is like the early that would have had to be like very early of you having a computer because
This is when
that whole
we still lived in Pawpaw. This was
yeah, like that would have been our old house when like because computers like YouTube is only as old as 2005 2006. So
Okay.
this whole revolution that's happened has only happened over the past like 15 years, which is crazy.
Well,
But-
it's all that alien torture.
Yeah,
Really? All that alien torture.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
what
different
AT stands
episode.
for. Alien torture and technology. That's where all that comes from.
In what
Well, I
way?
thi-
What?
Okay,
How do you
let's save
really
this for another
Are you kidding
episode.
me? Are you kidding me? All right. Well,
YouTube
before we
is
get
15 years old, by the way.
let's get to the comic books.
all right, let me pitch mine.
Okay, well, you have to explain the concept first. We haven't even talked about it. And
Okay,
it's
so here's the
42 minutes
concept of
in.
the podcast. Here's the podcast, which is actually obviously going to be more than one episode.
So
because it
here's
took us
the
forever
end to that question. Has movie making ruined comic books for you, Sky?
Actually, no, because I still read comic books the same way. But when one of the projects I was working on was I was writing my own script for Moon Knight. So I was doing before they announced the TV show that killed my dreams. So I was just looking at the different comic book runs of Moon Knight, and I was picking out different storytelling parts that I liked. And there's even parts in the comic books about them making a movie about him. And I just wrote like these treatments based on the comic book stories that I liked the most about him, and looked at the art style and basically just pieced together this story from what I would make of a screenplay of like a TV show for Moon Knight. So comics haven't changed too much. But I do look at them for like writing inspiration about certain characters in different ways. Because before
the
I
only
would,
thing the only thing that could ruin comic books is if they took the people who are making the movies and let them write a comic book.
Now, are you considering comic books graphic novels? Or are they still comic books?
I mean, individual comics are just comics to me. Collected editions are graphic novels to me. That's just how I've always thought about it.
Or
So-
if they write one that's specifically a novel where they don't take any breaks and that's what they release, that's a graphic novel.
What's your
Yeah.
favorite comic out there then?
I mean, I read Marvel and DC, but I've been reading like because I haven't been reading comics like at all lately, except for like Moon Knight, and I've just been basically catching up on Moon Knight's history, and then I'll go back and I'll read like the Infinity Gauntlet stuff like every month or something like that. Civil War all the time, Old Man Logan, like the actual first collected editions of Old Man Logan.
Okay.
So yeah, like I guess the top three: Civil War, Infinity Gauntlet, and probably Old Man Logan are my top three. Those are the ones I read like all the time.
So do you have a favorite character?
Well, Spider-Man's always the favorite character, but the one that I actually like writing for is Moon Knight, because Moon Knight has very interesting concepts of mental illness and everything. So
Just like
it's
society.
Yeah, so it's on the fence of and they explore it really cool in the comics. If like, is he just this crazy guy who thinks he's a superhero who hasn't been doing anything his entire life, or is he actually, a superhero with mental problems who's still fighting crime, but just doesn't. It blurs the lines between reality and everything else, like in his actual life. So that's like the concept script I was writing. Was basically the whole movie was, well, it was gonna be. I was writing it as a TV show where you follow him like his entire life, but you get up to a point where you're like, well, is it all real? Because he's clearly got mental problems, et cetera, et cetera. So that was the concept script I was writing. But now they're making it.
Fight
Yeah,
Club.
it's very similar to Fight Club but Fight Club has a definitive answer, I think. I don't know. I haven't watched it in a while. So Moon Knight never has a definitive answer. Like, it's pretty up in the air if he's actually crazy or if he actually does things. So that's what the show I was writing was going to explore. But now they're making one. So
The follow-up question is, do you use different voices as you read?
no,
I think that
not
everybody
really.
does. I think that if you really break it down, I think unintentionally you do.
I do if it depends. If the character, like if I'm reading stuff with characters that have live action adaptations, I probably will read it in those characters' voices. Like if I'm reading something Iron Man, I'll probably read it in Robert Downey Jr.'s voice.
Give the audience out there in podcast land a sample of how you would read something in your head out loud, angrily or happy as you're reading this comic. Like
I don't
old man
ever read
Logan
out
would come out
loud.
and he would say, you know,
Right.
Bub, I'm sick and tired of them doing this. I say we just
Honestly, right. Honestly, when I read it, like if I'm reading like Old Man Logan is a good example. I'll just picture like Hugh Jackman's voice, but like I read comics like very calmly. So if I'm picturing his voice while I'm reading Old Man Logan and he's like slicing open stomachs and stuff and he's like screaming about his family, I'm just in my head, I'm still imagining like Hugh Jackman, like as Hugh Jackman, just his voice, like very calmly, like, I'm killing you and your entire family. Like it doesn't like go up in my, like sometimes it'll go up like
and
to
for
a 10 in
reference,
my
Hugh
brain where the
Jackman,
character's
as you're
mad.
imagining this voice, he is fully clothed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Strange
I mean-
that your mind went there, Ronz.
I'm trying to, like, I know Wolverine in the comics is naked a lot, but I can only think of like one time he was in the movies. Like, I don't think that's a big thing in the movie. There's like one scene in X-Men Origins, which we don't talk about, where he's naked and he runs into a barn for a gag.
I actually liked X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I did too, but like, you just don't talk about it. Like, you just,
why don't you talk about it?
the
Is there, like,
X-Men
Fox on-
timeline.
X-Men in general has.
If we
a lot
talk
of
about
problems.
if we
X-Men
talk about
is fun.
Fox and the X-Men, we will never get to the comic book pitches, but nobody who made the X-Men movies cared about the timeline, but I do. So it is
Well,
one
as a
of
movie
the pains of
maker
my
Well, they
trying
can
to
always-
get everything into the timeline, how would you stay within your budget and fit everybody all the
The timeline
stuff
doesn't.
in?
You can fit it. It talks. It's pre-planning. Here's the deal.
Yeah,
why
they just don't do it.
They
which
just don't
is,
do pre-planning. The
Yeah.
problem with there's no problem with setting up a timeline. It doesn't affect your budget in any way, shape, or form.
Let me give
because
you-
can manipulate the
I
years.
think it
of
affects
this
your
stuff.
budget.
No,
because-
it doesn't.
No,
because
let me give
it
you a
doesn't matter.
let me
You
give
can
you a stupid
release it.
example.
It doesn't matter when you release the movie. You can set the timeline.
Yeah,
anytime
you can-
want.
Let me give you an example of something that Fox did that I think is so. Have you both seen X-Men 3: The Last Stand?
Yeah,
which
I
one's
do
that
believe
about?
I have.
That's the one where Professor Xavier dies. Like
No.
Phoenix kills him or whatever, and then they all have like the big island fight, the mutant cure. That's the third
Okay.
movie. So in the third movie, Professor X dies, Dark Phoenix kills him, and then Magneto also lost his powers because he got cured. And then if you watch the Wolverine, the standalone Wolverine movie, at the very end, the end credit scene of that, Magneto with his powers and Charles Xavier both come to him in an airport and they're like, the end of the world is coming. And they set up Days of Future Past. But then Magneto didn't have his powers in that timeline yet also. And Charles Xavier was dead. And then it cuts, and then you watch Days of Future Past and it cuts to like 40 years in the future. And you're like, well, wait. So what did they do? Did they just stand inside the airport and then when they walked outside, everybody in the world was just controlled by it? Doesn't make any sense. Nothing in these movies makes any sense, and it makes me angry because doesn't
Yeah,
technically
why
have
is-
to make sense.
Why is that, though? In my opinion, I'll tell you why that is.
Oh, please
It's
do.
because, okay, I will. Because the people who make the comics don't make the movies. The
Yeah,
people who
but
make the
that's pretty.
comics and the people who make the animated series don't make the movies. So if you want continuity, you have to read the comics or you have to watch the. Even the X-Men animated series was really pretty good.
Yeah, it's held up there as
Yeah,
pretty.
I did like that series.
Yeah, but even if you, because it's true, like that's why Fox didn't have. Basically, the success of the MCU comes down to their planning, and Kevin Feige read comics obsessively. That's how he got his job, and then he just saw like a hawk the entire piecing together and planning of everything so that everything makes sense, because we didn't really have that before. Like there were movies with sequels, like you had 3 Blade movies, but then like that was it. Like there was nothing more to that beyond the 3 movies, you know.
So as a continuity person, what do you think of Kevin Smith's handling of the of movies when he does what he just did, the DCEU or DCU Crisis on Infinity Earth for television?
Yeah, he
What do you
does a
think
lot
of
of
that?
the. I have not watched them. I know I should because he does a very good job with them, but I gave up on the DC shows a very long time ago. They're just like they do a very good job of maintaining continuity and everything, but their shows just I feel like they just downgrade in quality, or they take very very long, or like the Flash is like the fastest man alive, but also he's not because there's 5 other men standing in line waiting to fight him who are faster than him, and I just got tired of it.
Yeah, but the comics are like that too, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they are,
obnoxious. It is obnoxious.
which
But
is
at
why
least
I
the comics,
stopped.
but the comics keep bringing you back. It's the
Yeah.
series that gets a little bit old, especially when they try to do things where they do a crossover, and then, well, okay, I don't really want to watch Legends of Tomorrow. I
Well,
don't
you know,
really
that's
want to watch
one of the reasons why
Supergirl.
I gave up on comic books is because I used to be a reader of comic books and a collector of them. But when you're reading a specific character and then like continued in issue over here, I'm like, I don't want to read that particular. I'm not a big fan of that.
You don't
And-
even. I don't want to buy it. Like, why do I want to spend
Right.
the $4 to buy?
Yeah,
That's
the
why I
story
stopped.
goes over the next one. I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. Not a big fan of this. Why would I want to read it? But it's continued, and if you didn't buy it, of course, they left out that big story arc, which
Yeah,
was
you just missed the story.
yeah, exactly. And that's not a big fan. I wasn't a big fan. So,
Yeah, that's why I stopped.
who would be your worst director as far as comics go?
Oh,
See, I've seen a few out there. Whoever did the Hulk, I forgot his name.
which one? The 2008 or 2003?
The one with Edward Norton,
I don't remember who directed that one,
right?
but yeah, that one is okay.
That's the
I
one
mean,
with
it's-
Stan Lee doing the opening scene with the
yeah,
bottle.
with the bottle. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember who directed that one because clearly it wasn't important. Otherwise, I probably would know. I don't know. Like that one stands out. That one actually, if you rewatch it, it's fine. Like it kind of gets shit on a lot because it's not great, and it's the second movie in the MCU, but it's fine.
I did like what they did with the Hulk in that series, but I didn't, just the way they set up things. I wasn't really a big fan of it.
It doesn't feel like an MCU
No.
kind of movie and character, but then he kind of pops up in the Avengers like 4 years after that movie, and you're like, well, what the hell is going on there? And then they just go from there.
And who directed The Last Airbender?
That was M. Night Shyamalan.
That
Ugh.
sucked. And I'm a big fan of that animation, right?
Yeah, it's a good animated series, but also why did you get M. Night Shyamalan to direct? Anime adaptations are just very hard to do in general.
And let's pick a white kid to play the Airbender.
I mean,
Were there any Asian people in The Last Airbender?
well, it's funny because it's like the Dragon Ball movie where, Dragon Ball is it's a Japanese property. Like the whole cast is white.
No,
And it
no,
does-
not the whole cast.
Like no, isn't like he the main character Goku is white, but isn't everybody else Asian?
yeah,
So he's
who-
just like
who's-
the white dude in an Asian world.
who played his uncle. I could pull it up, but his
I
uncle
don't
was
remember.
Asian.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know. Those movies are hard. It's like video game movies. It's the same level. Like, it's hard to do a video game movie correctly. But
Actually, you know who did one really pretty good, and I guess it was they only made it on the internet, and I really wish that they would finish it.
What's that?
Is Street Fighter. You can watch the Street Fighter series on YouTube. It's really very good.
Yeah, they've had some good history with doing that. But like, you look at I've never seen it, but you look at the original Mortal Kombat movie, and you're like, that's a hard movie to make. Why would you even? I mean, I know why they would do it, because money.
Oh, it's still a fun movie. The movie was pretty fun, actually. They did it pretty decent. It was a decent job for the time, and the soundtrack was awesome.
Yeah,
I actually think I still have the soundtrack.
Oh, I love the soundtrack to that movie. That was a really great movie. So, what would be your ultimate soundtrack then for a good movie then?
I don't know.
I'm not a music person in that respect with soundtracks, but I would say for the soundtracks that I've had, which happens rarely, I'd say probably the Mortal Kombat one's really pretty good. And
the original Spider-Man's ones are pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. And Adam Sandler puts out pretty decent soundtracks for two of his movies, and I have both of those. And really,
50 First Dates has a very good soundtrack.
50 First Dates and The Wedding Singer. Or Wedding Singer actually has two soundtracks.
Yeah, but The Wedding Singer was a flashback to the 80s, wasn't it?
Right, so he just picked
he just picked really good 80s songs.
He picked really good 80s songs.
The original Guardians of the Galaxy, if you will.
Okay, that's a good throwback. I like the Ramones when they did Spider-Man. I thought that was really good.
They picked because they were going for a John Hughes type vibe, and the Ramones, like certain songs they picked for that actually kind of fit pretty well with just being in high school and being a teenager.
Well, I also like any underground group that's kind of punk rock, and they come out and they insert it in the mainstream like Quentin Tarantino did in his movies. Yeah. He would put some obscure sound in the background, and you're like, wow, that's so catchy. Let's listen to it. And I really do like where it goes sometimes. So that's the way I liked it.
One of the people I listen to, Hoodie Allen, I talked to him like a couple times and everything, and I go to all his shows. They didn't put his song in the movie, which was disappointing, but they used it for the trailer for Spider-Man Homecoming. They just couldn't put it in the movie because it's like, it's not a kid-friendly song or whatever, but that was really cool to see like a very niche, small, tiny artist that I listen to actually get recognized from Marvel. Because I woke up that day, I was like, oh, wow. And all that fun stuff.
Yeah, let's promote Hoodie Allen on the podcast. Ron, if you have not listened to Hoodie Allen, I don't know that it's the type of music that you would actually enjoy.
I listen all types.
He's a pretty good little artist. We went and saw his concert in Detroit, and I will say this though.
Yeah, but like it's so weird because I've been going to his shows for a few years, and multiple times I have gone alone. And then the year I moved away, my whole family was like, "Let's go to his show." And I was like, okay.
No, I listen to all types of music. I listen to everything from EDM to thrash metal. So if someone says something,
European death metal, is that what that is? European death metal? Is that what
Norwegian black metal?
Well, yeah, sometimes, but lately I've been getting the 5 Finger Death Punch, and this is a shout out to all the vets out there. Please,
yeah, shout out. Thanks for working on our dogs and cats.
Yeah, thank you. Way to go! Just bring that message right down to the ground and burn it.
Well, if you want to talk about vets, here's the commonality between vets and veterans. Do you want to hear this scary commonality?
Sure, why not?
Sure. It's actually very upsetting. You sure you want to hear it?
Sure, why not?
Both veterans and veterinarians have a high suicide rate.
That is very depressing.
It is very depressing.
But when you watch,
why did you bring that up?
That's for awareness.
Awareness.
So take good care of your veterans and
Definitely.
take good care of your
22 veterans a day commit. I don't know how many veterinarians commit suicide a day.
I don't think they have a very high suicide rate.
Wow.
And you can understand why they're spending their entire day putting animals to sleep.
That's just amazing. But to all our vets, military brothers and sisters, if you need help,
please.
Shout
out to working for our guinea pigs.
Yeah. Way to go. Just keep lighting that. Throw the gasoline on this guy. But if you haven't watched 5 Finger Death Punch videos, watch some of their videos. And please, as a vet, if you need help, call someone, talk to someone at any given time, day or night. We're out there for you. And it's just that I'm into Five Finger Death Punch recently, and I really do like the way they sound and everything. And when you listen to them, it's really cool. For me, I listen to all types. So I'll listen to this little hoodie or whatever his name is. Right?
Yeah, little. It's it's.
And if I say please forgive me, I don't need a lot of flack for it. I've never heard of the artist.
No, I mean he's popular, but also very small. He's just an independent artist, and he's small enough that I like.
Young man, I will listen to this little hoodie.
he's small enough that I can talk to him like in my free time. So there you
go.
But it's
And maybe I think if anything, as we get better at developing the website, if you know of any artists that you would like us to listen to, send us an email link or recommend it, and we'll listen to it. And I would like to listen to this guy, right?
Little hoodie,
whatever his name is, I'll listen to it. Right? It's sort of like what is it? Different types of music I will listen to because someone says, "Hey, you got to check it out," and I will. And if I don't like it, well, then I don't like it. But at least I'll give it an honest shot. Sort of like Sabaton, if you're a military war veteran or you like military wars. These guys sing about it.
Did you just say if you like military wars?
Likes war.
Did you just say if you like military wars?
Yeah.
Did you really just say that?
Yeah. Well, look at your historians.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a fan of war,
yeah. Well, look at your historians.
Make some noise. Make some noise for the Gulf War, everybody.
Oh, you guys are. Think about the historians.
If you are a fan of the Korean War, please stand up.
The historians.
Oh, sir. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You're an amputee. You can't stand up.
Please do not attempt to get out of your wheelchairs. We will lift you up on our shoulders for you.
Wow, once again, going dark.
If you are a fan of Vietnam, please show off your Agent Orange battle scars.
Actually, if you know who the fans, I would say that the fans of war would be the military-industrial complex, probably not the people who fought in them.
Or the psychos that joined to kill people.
I was going to say historians.
There.
Yeah, they're out there.
The historians.
We know you're out there, you fucking assholes.
Wow, you guys really took this a whole different direction than what I was going for.
Well,
stop handing me your recruitment cards at the checkout where I work. I'm not gonna join. Like you can tell by looking at me, I wouldn't last 3 weeks.
Well, but when you look at some of them, it's the same thing. You're like, wow, I wouldn't have thought that they would have lasted 3
Well,
weeks.
yeah, but then I just feel like I'm being recruited for the fat regimen, and I'm like, great. So what do you want? Butter in the military? Like, do you guys not get enough butter?
They have cooks.
Yeah, they have cooks.
I can't cook.
They're ex-filmmakers, but they have cooks.
I can't cook. I can't shoot. I can't do a push-up. I don't know why.
It's pretty obvious that I'm not going to get to pitch my comic.
No, you will. I mean, we can. We're only at an hour 3.
I usually cut it off at about an hour and 10.
Well,
So
I mean, you can make this.
No.
This is a special episode, so we can expand it as long as we would like.
No, we can. Basically, let's put it this way, John. This is the.
Stop calling me John. I'm going to have to go out and edit the fucking podcast.
The Falcon podcast.
Yeah, he doesn't like his first name.
No, that's not my character. That is not my character.
Yeah, it isn't. So,
well, anyway,
this is we can say this is a beta test of how the podcast can be done remotely. Oh crap!
Yeah, no, I'm sending you your own messages and say, "Shut the fuck up and stop calling me by my first name." How many times do I got to tell you what my persona is? Ronz.
Oh.
Anyway,
I think this is just a good test for our audience to weed out who is a fan of war and who is not.
Jesus, I would hope fucking nobody. I would hope fucking nobody.
Historians,
I gotta tell you.
Right, historians.
What's your excuse now? What was your?
I mean, yes, I'm a big fan of history, but I'm
you're maybe a fan of history, but don't say you're a fan of war. That seems
like I am an incredible fan of history. It's my favorite subject besides English, but I don't read books about World War II, and I'm like, damn, wish I lived through that.
Right. Good point.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. But back to what I was saying is like Sabaton thinks about war, right? And when you listen to them, they're a really good band. They finally came to Michigan about a couple years ago, and my son went to see them, and they were really good. And he saw a couple of different bands too. So I once again, back to what I was saying, is I listen to different types of music. And
was that the point? Was your whole point?
Yeah,
that was the point.
That was
okay.
the point. That was the entire point.
Speaking of our audience, whether you like war or not,
just don't tell us if you do.
We'd be remiss if we didn't say that, hey, thanks for listening to our podcast. Thanks for staying with us after we rebranded. Hopefully it did not confuse anybody.
No, it didn't.
It was a pretty smooth.
He makes a blanket statement. He's like, no, I didn't. Yeah, everybody was good.
No, everything is perfect.
Everything's perfect.
And and if you
thank you for listening.
Well, there you go. Thank you for listening.
If you are listening right now and you've come with us over from
I don't
the
know
Switch,
how I don't know how you would have done that. I don't know how you would be listening right now.
Well, if you're listening right now, please get the fuck off of my computer.
Yeah, that's a little odd that you're. Is this the CIA? Is the CIA listening?
Well,
does this have anything to do with the chip in the back of my neck?
No, no, that's probably a stuck Dorito.
I thought that was the other kind of vet that did that.
No, they don't. They only do that for your dog.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why do you have one?
Well, because I spent so much
time. Did you just walk into the office when we got our dog chipped and you were like, you know what? I don't know what the future holds. Would you chip me? Would you be able to chip me right now?
Some sort of a high-tech
Would you do a 2-for-1 deal?
Some sort of a high-tech barcode that they implanted when I was in the 82nd.
Do you have a BOGO for this chip I'm getting inside of my dog?
You know that took me forever to figure out what that meant. I thought that was a brand of shoe.
A BOGO? No, it's a buy one, get one.
Yeah, I know, but it took me. I was like, why? What is this BOGO brand?
In case you didn't know now, you should. It's a buy one, get one.
And I always thought you were ahead of the curve there, Beaveman.
Hey, congratulations.
I know. Nice, you know, I'm looking at the names on my screen. I'm like, no, you're not that porn actress I'm watching right now. No, that's not you.
Why are you watching porn while you're doing a podcast?
Hold on.
I'm not watching porn at all.
Oh, boy.
And why are you watching porn on your son's computer?
I am. Jesus Christ.
That's even. There's so many
there are
levels
better
of
things
wrong.
to use the 3 monitors for. For
Actually,
instance, keeping up on the news.
Keeping up on the news. I've got
denouncing war.
I've got a website punched up, and I'm looking at it. And if you haven't gone to it right now, please go to it. When you get a chance, check it out.
It's called bigtittysluts.org. That's what Ron is looking at right now.
Yeah, and you at least promote the correct website.
And send us email to.
We don't ask for your credit card info. That's one thing we'll give you over the competitor.
And please send us an email so that we know our email works.
Well, you should probably give that information. If you're going to plug it, give the information.
They can find it.
Yeah, slapnation.com.
No, that's wrong. That is not what it is. It is not. If somebody types in Slap Nation, they are going to get porn.
I just, what is Slap Nation? Just you walk in the front door of your house and you just, every day, the entire nation, as soon as they walk in the front door, their significant other just slaps them in the face.
Or it's a spanking site.
It's a dystopian 1984.
Exactly. If you go to, listeners in Mountain View, San Jose, all those other cities in California.
Speaking of that, did I surpass my...
Shut up, Ron.
Shut up.
Speaking of which, if you, members of the great state of California who listen to us more than anybody else, if you go to slapnation.com, you're more than likely going to get a porn site. That is not our website. As the developer of our website and the one who works on it the most, the Ronz, should know that it is not slapnation.com.
Well, we can always reach out to Slap Nation and ask if they want to do a deal. It
doesn't exist at this time.
He's looking it up. Hey, that domain name is available. It's slaptailnation.com.
Yeah.
Well, by the time this episode comes out, we will have by then bought Slap Nation.
I don't really want Slap Nation.
Or it'll be a porn site. So there we go. And,
And what's our email address, Ron?
Slaptailnation.com. Right? And
that's not our email address. That's our website.
Yeah, and on it, you'll find...
Hey, listeners. Hey, listeners.
Let me tie everything in.
This is my IT guy. This is my developer here. This is my right hand man.
You gotta let me, plug the website, because on there they'll find, because we've already been asked about the artwork. So if you go to Friends of the Show, you'll see the person behind our music and the other person behind our artwork. There you'll also find other cast members or Slaptail Squad members. And you'll see a link for Beaveman and the Daughter, their podcast. And then you'll find our convenient email link right on there. So if you click on that, it'll allow you to send an email to us.
All right. So what's your comic book pitch?
Everything ties in.
So once again, the website is
slapnation.com.
No, god damn it! No, god damn it, it is not.
Slaptailnation.com. I am
Oh my God.
sorry.
This is like a conversation with my father.
No, at least we know where we are.
Yeah, it's
Once again, the
slaptailnation.com.
website, it's slaptailnation.com.
Yeah.
The email address where people can contact us if they'd like to.
Slaptailnation.com.
No, let me. It's. Oh, geez.
It's slaptailsquad@gmail.com.
Right. That would be it.
That would be it. Hey, here's a funny story. It's not a story. It's a comment.
An anecdote.
I was looking to see what the Ronz had done recently with the website, and so I typed in our name for the website, which is
Slaptail.com.
It's just slaptailnation.com.
Yeah.
You need to seek these folks out, Ronz. There is a Slaptail vodka, and it's pretty funny little artwork. It's this little beaver tripping over a log with his tail on his top of his head. It's Slaptail vodka, and let me see who makes it.
I'm punching
I
it
would
right now.
assume either the Canadians or the Russians.
Well, it's in Oregon because they've got Oregon State University, which is the Beavers.
Oh, yeah.
So, Ronz, you need to reach out to these folks and see if they would like us to advertise their vodka on our podcast.
Please
Wow.
send any and all free samples to Skylar Beavers. My
No,
address
not him.
of
Don't send it to him. Send it to us. You don't like
Yeah,
vodka.
I just punched it up. It's.
I like anything free. I don't have to drink it.
Okay. Well, that's true too.
Yeah.
But we would like to try it. By gosh, I'm
Yeah.
just overwhelmed by how great it is to see this little Slaptail vodka, this little beaver tripping over a log.
What if it's absolute shit and you've just been plugging it?
Well,
Absolute shit if it's free.
it could be.
Have you tried 5-star yet?
5-star vodka.
Yeah.
My favorite vodka is Grey Goose.
Oh, we're rich.
No, I don't. That doesn't mean I buy it all the time, but that's my favorite one.
I don't drink,
If
so
I
I
get
wouldn't know.
Yeah, so if I get a dirty martini, it's going to be Grey Goose.
What is a dirty martini?
A dirty martini?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they don't clean the glass.
They don't clean the glass.
That's
Wait, is
what I
that
thought it was.
actually it?
No, that's not it. A dirty martini
I was-
is made with olive. A dirty martini is made with olive juice. So
I
you
thought
make
they just reused the glass from the guy
No, it's
across
a-
the bar.
yeah, it's a vodka martini.
Well, the guy coughs in it and the vodka sanitizes
Sir,
it.
are you
Yeah.
sure you want a dirty martini? He has confirmed AIDS. Are you sure
Yes,
there's spit on
coronavirus.
this?
Wow. Once again, we couldn't go any darker than that, could
Let
we?
me just say this. If you're a fan of war, please don't let us know.
You know what? You have your dad's mannerisms. I love that. Let me say this.
I do.
Let me say this. So I really do like it. So
Are you about to say you're a
gonna
fan of war?
What were you going to say? Go ahead.
I
Say
feel
it.
like he was going to admit to be a fan of war and just was like, ah, fuck, I
It's
shouldn't
like,
do
I
that right
shouldn't
now.
say it.
what is it good for?
What is what?
Oh, Jesus.
Good God.
You
Good
don't
God,
know the
y'all.
reference.
No, I didn't hear it. I wasn't paying attention. What did you say?
What is it good for?
War? What is it good for? Well, Dick Cheney.
Okay, once
George
again, he
Bush,
totally lost on the reference.
Industrial military complex.
No,
yeah.
who's sung at war? What is
Al
it good
Gore.
for?
He
Absolutely
profited
nothing.
directly from the Iraq War.
Right? Who sung that? War.
Good God, y'all. What is
Uh,
it good for?
Johnny Cash.
Johnny
Good God,
Cash has a great song. I think was it by Nirvana? By the way,
Are you talking
I
about?
think it was by the David Navarro. Not David Navarro. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
oh, by the way, it
Dave
was Edwin
Matthews
Starr
Band.
who
no,
sung
not
War.
Dave Matthews.
Good God, what is it good for?
It's a little bit. Yeah, there's a big age gap between us here.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, he is my child, and he's 21, so clearly there's going to be an age gap.
Well, you could have adopted.
Are you talking about when Johnny Cash sung "Hurt"?
Yeah.
That's what I thought he was talking about. I don't remember who it was. I thought it was a very small band that did that, or
No,
well,
it's,
maybe not a small band, but
it's God. Isn't it the guy who died?
Kurt Cobain?
Kurt Cobain.
No, God damn it! No.
He didn't die. He was murdered.
9 Inch Nails.
Trent
Yeah.
Reznor?
That's what it was.
that,
9 Inch
was that
Nails.
who did it?
Yeah, it is because I saw a thing recently where they were like, yeah, he kind of made that his own song, so we just like let him have it.
Yeah, you're right. It was Trent Reznor of 9 Inch Nails who did it.
Right. He's not dead, by the way.
No, he's alive.
He is.
But there is a. Well, you said you did say Kurt Cobain though, but there is a conspiracy out there that Trent Reznor had something to do with Kurt Cobain's death.
There's a lot of. I mean, I could have had something to do with Kurt Cobain's death if you look at every possibility.
You were not alive at the time.
I could have been.
Mm-hmm.
But you weren't. You were not.
Are you
I mean,
sure?
of all people to know, I guess you would know.
I would know. At that time, you were not.
And and that'll bring us to the timeline theory of your comic. If you had the powers of traveling back and forth in time.
Yes, is your comic, Dad, about traveling back in time to stop the assassination of Kurt Cobain?
No, but that could be a.
That would be a sick comic.
Mhm.
Actually, that would be a good comic.
War?
What
just
would be different?
War about
Can you
war?
imagine just the artist drawing that comic as you rush in and punch Courtney Love in the face as she holds the gun?
God. I would punch her. I would punch her so hard right in the vagina.
Courtney Love, if you're listening, please stop. Well, I mean, I guess it's good you're listening, but we know what you did.
There's no way Courtney
We know
Love
what
was
you
listening.
did, Courtney
If
Love.
Courtney Love was listening, there'd be people outside my door right now trying to kill me.
Courtney, we know you fucking killed him.
Jesus. Wow.
What, Ron? What have you not listened to my Nirvana podcast, Ron?
No, I have not.
It's just him covering the Underwater album for an hour and a half.
I was never a big fan of Nirvana. I really wasn't.
Holy fuck! What?
No,
Why? Everybody loves Nirvana.
Well, not everybody.
not everybody.
Well,
I've never been a big fan.
That's like
of them.
saying that. That's like saying that you like Nickelback. Nobody likes Nickelback.
I
It's
love
just a
Nickelback.
universe. Okay, well,
What's wrong
I
with
think that
Nickelback?
whole
no.
it's just one of those bands that people decided that they should hate, and
Everybody just
jumped on board.
decided. Yeah,
And
everybody just
jumped on
decided.
board, which they're pretty fucking awesome. And Nickelback, if you're listening, rock hard, motherfuckers.
Nickelback, we know
What?
you killed him.
You know you
Didn't they do a concert? No one wanted to listen to him, so they just walked off stage.
Yeah, so
I thought that was pretty cool. It's like,
That was
oh,
pretty
if you
cool.
don't want to listen to us, we still get paid.
Well,
We're
clearly Ron not only likes War, but he likes Nickelback as well.
No, I like Weird Al. That's my hero, right there for music.
Weird Al.
Weird Al, we know you fucking killed him.
Right?
Weird Al. Ron likes Weird Al.
I do.
Little Hoodie.
Five Finger Death
Oh,
Punch.
Hoodie, we know you fucking killed him.
Oh, Sky, you've got that great horror voice in the background that for
Why are
continuity.
you always
that would be
talking about
so
horror?
great.
He was talking about doing horror makeup last time. Now he's talking about horror voices.
Yeah,
Horror is probably my favorite genre.
yeah. I just like the thought process behind it because you
Well,
really
I
have to
guess-
think about it.
Well,
Here's my
since-
only question, since we
Okay.
did not get to the topic.
No, we can still go as long as we want to. And we're not being booted off the air for radio time.
Well, then I'm going to have
Yeah.
to split the podcast in half.
Well, we could end it now, and then what we could do is we come back to it another time. I mean, honestly, it doesn't bother me.
Well,
And
I don't know.
Sky's got to come out of his room for Oreos, so eventually he's going to
No,
have to
we
walk
don't
away
have
from the
any.
mic.
No, we don't have any. We don't have Oreos.
Trust me, I took stock.
There's no Oreos. I did not go buy end of the world Oreos. No, I did not do that.
Yeah.
Speaking of end of the
Unfortunately.
world, have you seen the damn shelves out there in real life? I thought it was a
And-
fucking joke. I really did.
No, it's actually real. I went to Publix day before yesterday. There was nothing. I mean, there was like food and stuff, but like everything of cleaning supplies and all that kind of stuff was out.
No, I went to a local store, and I'm like, I just had to go see the toilet paper and the ramen. It was gone.
Yeah, it's just gone.
I'm like,
it's so crazy.
I was just like, wow.
What's really crazy is I ordered emergency supplies like a month ago. I'm not kidding. Before this ever got really, really bad, I ordered emergency supplies. Still haven't got them.
Just defeats the whole point.
It does, doesn't it? When you're like, well, I saw this stuff coming. I'm like, I clearly I did not see it before everybody else. I mean, I did, and I was like, well, I'm not going to order emergency supplies. I don't want to look like I'm panicking. But finally, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I ordered it. Still don't have them.
It's just one of those SNL gags, where the paranoid guy orders food, and then it's like one of those SNL gags, the paranoid guy orders food before the pandemic, and then it's the day it's supposed to get delivered to his house, and they just shut down USPS.
Right. Exactly.
I just couldn't imagine what I saw being real. And
you have a very shitty imagination if you couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, people are terrible.
Yeah, well,
like
coming from our
how
background,
often do you read? Reading will help your imagination.
Right. Exactly. Like if you couldn't have imagined that, you have a very, very, very
just picture a shelf with toilet paper on it, but then like white out the toilet paper.
Well, I read every
makes it
day.
easier.
It often goes like, "Dear Penthouse, I can't believe at my local store the ramen." And
Dear Penthouse, I went on a date recently. She was a fan of war. It went well.
And she had never listened to the Kurt Cobain podcast.
Kurt Cobain had a podcast. Maybe he was so ahead of his time. Maybe that's why they killed him. He was going to invent the podcast revolution 30 years before it took off.
Yeah, we thought Kevin Smith was the first.
The Time Police just decided no.
The Time Police.
Von Damme.
Yeah, I was going to reference that. That is such...
The kid from Looper. What's his name?
Bruce Willis.
No, the kid from Looper. Not Bruce Willis. The other kid. What's his name? Who was on Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh, Joseph Levitt Gordon.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Whatever.
Not a fan of war, by the way.
Not a big fan.
He is not a fan of war.
That's my understanding. All right, here's what we're going to do then. We're going to wrap this podcast up.
All right.
And I'm going to plug the website once again.
Slap Nation.
No.
Tail.
Slaptailnation.com.
Slaptailnation.com. And you can reach us by email at slaptailsquad@gmail.com. Or you can go to the website, give us a visit there, and just open up the little menu there and email us. There's a nice little link that Ronz put on there.
And if you know...
Menu. I just piggybacked on what you wanted me to do. And there you'll find facts about friends of the show and everybody behind the scenes.
Yeah, about the emails. If you guys have any questions or any info on who killed Kurt Cobain, you can go ahead and email us at the aforementioned email. I wasn't paying attention. If you know who killed him,
that actually would be really sweet.
Know who killed him?
That would be sweet. I would love to get. I would actually just like to get some fucking emails to talk about it on the show.
Yeah, I'll send you one.
A big shout out to Kevin Smith. And
if you're listening, Kevin, we know you fucking killed him.
We want Kevin Smith on the show.
I'm your biggest fan, Kevin, but we know you fucking killed him.
We're gonna have to have t-shirts now. Just Skylar saying, "We know you fucking killed him."
Just our chances of getting really cool people that we really want to talk to, like Kevin.
If you're really listen, let me be sincere. Let me be honest. If you're a really cool person and you have been listening for a while, that's really amazing, and I'm so glad that you've been supportive here. But we know you fucking killed him.
It's possible. It's probably not bloody likely, but it's possible. I would like to get those emails. Honestly, I think that would be great.
I would too. Cool. I would too.
And let me say thank you sincerely to the listeners in Mountain View, California. Still Mountain View. You're listening to us more than anybody, even with the transition. Even with the transition to Slaptail Squad, you listen to us more than anybody. And apparently, you're spreading the word throughout California because we've got San Jose.
Just like a virus.
Just like a virus.
Oh,
a good
that was
virus.
Just wrong.
A good virus.
A good virus.
Yeah, like chlamydia.
Right.
And we would like Kyle Glass, also of Tenacious D, to come on the show too and talk about.
Kyle, if you're listening, we know
chlamydia is not a virus. Chlamydia is not a virus.
I was gonna wait to see how long you would take to say chlamydia is not a virus.
Who would name their kid chlamydia?
But you know what is a virus?
Urban
Liking
legend.
war.
Yeah. So what's the plan is then? I'm just going to sign off now and say this is the end of the podcast. We never got to the topic. What we did though was I think we established. I think what we did was we established parameters or the baseline, saying that we are nerdy enough to attack this topic the next time. Basically, what I'm saying is we've got some nerd wisdom.
Yes, we will attack you like you're immunocompromised,
Much like a
virus.
much like a virus.
Or a war.
What? God damn it! God damn it!
While we're here bringing awareness to how bad war is, I would also like to point out what we did to the Native Americans. Think on that.
Wow.
Did that really?
Christopher Columbus is not a hero.
Did that really happen?
Christopher Columbus, we know you fucking killed Kurt Cobain.
In some strange way. In some strange way, perhaps he did.
Christopher Columbus is the time cop.
Mm. Oh, that's true.
I think that you would. I don't think that he would be able to handle the change in clothing. I think he'd still be doing that in some weird tight shit.
Well, he would just time travel in his clothes and claim to be a Renaissance man, or like a Ren fair.
And there's your next plot for the.
He probably doesn't smell very
No, that's
good.
so
movie
stupid.
right
I'm
there.
not going to do that. That's so stupid.
Now they're
probably
coming up
smells
with Bill
really
and
bad.
Ted number 3, so there's your four. There's your number 4 plot right there.
Keanu Reeves, we know you didn't kill Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, we know he
Right.
didn't do it because he could kill
He's a
anyone.
legend.
for-
He's a
fucking
legend.
Awesome. He's awesome.
He's a legend. I will never slander Keanu Reeves.
And if Keanu Reeves is listening, please, we'd love
Keanu,
to talk to you.
please, please
That'd be awesome.
reach out to us.
Yeah, you just literally don't have to say much except just do your usual dialogue. Whoa, yeah,
Yeah.
whoa,
Whoa.
yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa. All right. I'm wrapping this shit up.
All right, wrap it up.
Okay,
All
wrap
right.
it up like
Wrap it up like a mummy.
our country did not wrap up the virus.
Right. I will say this.
Please stay inside. Do not spread anything to anybody, whether it's chlamydia or
1 in 5.
blank 19.
1 in 5.
1 in 5 what?
1 in 5 sexually active adults. Chlamydia. There you go.
Wow.
But,
So Sky's
that's
pretty
sad.
safe.
That might be wrong.
yeah, I'm fine.
That might be wrong. All right.
That's a high. I don't know.
Yeah, look it up. All right. Adios, smooch fuckos.
Take care.
Goodbye.